How much should a guy spend on a wedding ring?
Well, given that it's a wedding ring, that means we'd have to get to the point of getting married, and I won't even entertain a guy if he doesn't drive at least a $300,000 car. Not to mention, if we do get to that point, the ring literally has to be someone's mortgage.
I guess it's valid.
Baby, this kitty makes more money than Bill Gates, I'll tell you that.
Ooh. Okay.
Guys, welcome to Better Bachelor. My name is Joker with a face for radio and a voice for print. Women are begging men to basically ignore everything about them. This is going to be like a white pill, good news, we're winning the culture war kind of thing. This is that video is this one. Because I'm trying to pass along the feel-good vibes that I have today. Things are going quite well. Now, yes, you can look at the world and say we're in a horrible mess and we've got a long way to hit bottom. But I can see the winds of change, like getting ready to kind of bring things back a little bit. And for a lot of you, you're going to disagree with me because you're going to say, oh, man, everything's horrible and work and employment and inflation and the border. And I get it. I get it. We've got a long way to go until we correct these problems. But if you pay attention online like I do, you can see things starting to turn around. And because of that, the men that are intelligent and that are paying attention, much like many of you watching these videos, you're going to be fine. You're gonna make it through this decade or decade of mess, and you're gonna come out on the backside much better than you were, maybe even beforehand. And I'll explain why. And then I've got a bunch of examples and videos and women acting at least horrible like they usually do. We got a bunch of those that we're gonna talk about. But I do want you to hear my little tiny rant intro here into the beginning, because I think this is actually the most important part of this video. I've been doing this channel now for 5 years, and before me, there were channels that did it as well. Some of them got demonetized. Some of them got kicked off YouTube completely. Some of them are no longer with us, like Kevin Samuels and Coach Red Pill. But I'd get a lot of emails or messages or even posts below the videos saying, man, because I'd say, hey, become a subscriber today. Like the video, become a subscriber today. I would get emails saying, dude, I'd become a subscriber, but if my wife found out, if my girlfriend found out, if my job found out, these are people that really kind of drank the Kool-Aid when it came to being worried about what people think of their opinions. And that's fine. That's fine. But here we are 5 years later, and now some of the biggest accounts that are making memes, that are sharing videos on Twitter and Facebook and these other places, some of the biggest ones are women showing their losses and women behaving badly. Whatever podcast blows up, Fresh and Fit blows up, Andrew Tate blows up, all these things, and now it's kind of on the table. You're still going to get pushback from some people, but it's now to the point where even Matt Walsh and Tucker Carlson and Fox News are talking about some of the issues we've been talking about for a long time. That is a win. That is a win for all of us. And if it means a lot of channels go away because there's so much that people get over inundated and they say, oh, God, I'm tired of hearing about awful women, that's fine. But at least we can say the next generation has been warned. And the guys that are finding masculinity and intelligence and humor and being like-minded are doing quite well, because we're having fun right now, making fun of everything. And then the side that's team left, team feminism, team pro-government or whatever, they're not doing well. They're angry at everybody, including each other. And that's a good thing. What does this have to do with dating and relationships? And it's because women have been allowed to do anything they want and talk about everything and justify everything. It is becoming apparently obvious that not only are they not doing well and they're hurting themselves in society, but there's no easy way for them to walk out of it. Like they're on a one-way path to destruction. And I'm not talking about all women in this case. I don't have to do the all women thing, but I am not talking about all women. I'm talking about the women that are the left, the crazy, the spicy work is real work, and put myself out on the internet for $5 a pop. Those women aren't doing well. And in just a very quick few years, things have changed. And I'll leave it at this. If you look at the 70s, because I've been around for 5 decades now, and I wasn't an adult for all of it, but I remember the 70s. I was a very young little pup back then. I remember bell bottoms and big collars and flower print and ties that were as wide as a football field. And I have pictures of me in that dressed up for either church or another function that I was going to. I have those pictures. I remember the bell bottoms and the flowers and the disco music and the kind of feel-good hippie Americana music. And then smash cut to the 80s, and it was long, blown-out hair and lipstick and makeup and denim jackets and ripped jeans. And those were the men. You know what I mean? Like leather jackets. And then you move forward into the 90s, and it was grunge and goth and all this other stuff. Well, each decade's got its thing. And it very quickly turns just because politics is downstream from whatever's popular in society. Well, right now, what's popular in society is pushing back against crazy. It's pushing back against the madness. People don't like to be told what to do. And when it's a teacher telling you stop, or a parent telling you stop listening to I don't know, Ozzy Osbourne, because if you play the record backwards, you're summoning something from the third gate of hell. Guys like myself were like, oh, well, if you don't want me to listen to it, I want to go check it out. That's how young kids are. Well, now you've got teachers, parents, these people saying, oh, men can be women, women can be men, and trust big pharma and trust the government. And naturally, most people or the smart ones that are paying attention, much like many of you watching this video, they say, hey, I don't trust the government, and I don't trust people in charge telling me what to do. I'm going to look at the opposite. And so when women or when we're told by articles like this one, stop criticizing women and start questioning men instead in 2022, just as of 2 years ago, a lot of people start saying, well, why? I'm not even going to read the article. It's stupid, but this is from the Harvard Business Review. It's stupid. And many smart women are going to say, well, why? None of this makes any sense. It's like, stop feeding us the Kool-Aid. We're not on board anymore. And now things are twisting. Things are flipping around. I'm on Twitter all day long, and as unfortunate as it is, and as much as I'd like not to be there some days, I have to find content. And I find that there are accounts that they will go and scour the web looking for crazy things, and they post it on Twitter. That's what I used to do. I would sit here for hours and hours trying to find interesting, weird stories. Well, now other people do that, and then they post it on their Twitter account. And so it's easier for me to follow those accounts on Twitter and then kind of collect everything. They do the research for me, free researchers. And what I'm noticing is they're getting a lot of followers. They're getting very big, and there's a lot of stories about them. And of course, then people rage about them. This is good. It means that the information can be shared and that more people are waking up to the insanity, except, ironically, the women that I'm going to be talking about today. Since politics is downstream, and this isn't a political channel, but Nikki Haley has come out and said, if you want something answered, ask a man. If you want something done, ask a woman. And as soon as I heard that, I said, you know what? No matter what happens in our elections and our voting and all that, I'll vote against her, even if it's for mouth-breathing potato plant. Not necessarily, but I'd probably vote libertarian. I would vote for an actual house plant over either of these people. Well, that's Nikki Haley. And she's been caught in lie after lie after lie. She's pulled off the I'm a woman, and if you don't support me or like me, then you must hate women. She's also pulled off the just because I wasn't, white and etc. I wasn't allowed to be in beauty pageants. All of this is a complete lie, and people catch on to it. And so none of these candidates brutally defeats Nikki Haley in Nevada GOP primary. Now, I'm not talking about the politics of this. What I'm talking about is people can smell BS. They can smell liars. They can smell panderers. And more people are waking up. And I think this is a good thing. They say Nikki Haley lost Nevada to no one. which is 24,000 people voted for none of these candidates. 13,000 voted for Nikki Haley. Now, the none of these candidates is because, President Trump is not on there. And the way Nevada works is they're going to they don't have to put him on the caucus because they're just going to, he's the nominee for them. But it shows you that people would rather have nobody than Nikki Haley. I thought that was funny because people can smell the BS and people are waking up. And the information we've been talking about and pumping out for 5 years is now mainstream to the point where not only do people subscribe because they're not afraid of being associated with an evil dark channel like mine, but people are realizing, hey, we need to start doing this content too because it's blowing up and going viral. Now you can't, type in red pill or men going their own way or all this other stuff without hitting 5,000 channels probably. So as women continue to prove themselves being absolutely horrible, people are now making fun of them. And now they have to justify being horrible. Now they have to explain themselves. And it's not going well for them because they're being called out. Because smart guys like you, many of you who watch this channel, smart guys like you are calling them out and saying, hey, you're street meat. You're easy. Like, we don't want this anymore. And some women are getting it and some aren't. Not many women are getting it, to be honest. This is from the Lad Bible. Only Fools star sparks debate after sharing that she doesn't understand why men don't want to date people like her. This woman is mid as mid can be. You can tell in her hands, because I have a video of her. You can tell in her hands that she's aging. And she's got all the fillers and I look at her and I'm just like, I do not see anything salacious and or great about her, but I guess to each his own. But Daily Mail wrote an article about this woman, and I guess it wasn't very kind of her. And so she felt like she had to respond. And then she wants to yell at all the men in her comments that are making fun of her. This is a good thing. When you have these content creators coming out feeling like they have to push back against the men, calling them easy and street meat and, full of STDs and everything. That's great. That's great. That means culture shifting to where men are saying, look, you're out. Like, you're dirty. You're gross. We're tired of you. Go away. That's good, because that will flow eventually into, hopefully, a political correction for the world at this point. An Only Fools star has started a debate online after saying she doesn't understand why men say they don't want to date people like her. It's widely known that successful Only Fools stars can earn handsome amounts of money for their services, and some are not shy about what they do. This lady is an Australian dancer, of course, who takes off her clothing. An Only Fools star with over 163,000 followers on her TikTok account. That means nothing, though. I mean, yeah, it's a pretty good number on a TikTok account. That's not how many, supporters she has. They're not paying her any money. She's recently received a number of comments from male viewers on the social media app that has shamed her choice of work and lifestyle. Now she's posted a video responding to a comment on a previous video that said, "You're a write-off. Sorry, hun. You chose to do that. Men would never wife you up, but they will take you out, sleep with you, and that's it." That's literally everything I say on my channel. You're a toy. You're a hobby. You're an activity. You're not somebody to keep around and stay with. I talk about this. All men's channels do. And now we've got commenters on articles in the news, and we've got commenters on Fox News posts. Now, I'm not saying Fox News is the bastion of anything, because they lie probably as much as everybody else. But my point is that quote-unquote normies that still watch Fox News are responding to this stuff with content that we kind of talk about, which is women are kind of awful. This is a good thing, because it means this information over the years is slowly getting out. She said, she started saying that she wanted to address the previous video and clarify what her point was. Nobody cares. Shut up and take your top off. That's pretty much how society sees women like this now, by their own choice. She admitted she doesn't understand why people would say that, but she gets why they don't want to date someone like me. Okay, so she understands it then. Debate over. She says she's probably slept with the same or less amount of people than you have. The only difference being that she has filmed it. This is the catch. This is the rub. I'm going to let her. Instead of reading what they say about her, I'm going to let her speak it in her own words. And the fact that she feels that she has to respond to haters is good, because it means there's enough of them that it's bothering her, and that she needs to reply to her haters and explain herself. This is a win. This is making them defend their poor choices. I'll let her explain herself here.
All right, so I wanted to address this video because I've just seen it on Daily Mail. Not sure fucking why. Number one, I don't ES.
Notice how her eyebrows don't move, her forehead doesn't move, her lips don't move. It's like this woman is about 3 steps from becoming a mannequin.
CORT, but that's okay. Don't care if they say I do. Number two, I'm not saying that it's made it out like I'm bashing men. I'm literally not bashing men. I'm just I get it that they don't want to date someone that's had a past like me, but I don't understand it. I simply don't understand it because I probably had sex with the same or less amount of people that you have. The only difference is that I filmed it. That's the only difference. And I understand that guys don't want to be with someone where that is accessible and your friends can see it and your mates can see it. But that's the only difference. Doesn't mean I'm more of a or I'm more of a this or I'm more of a that, or I'm looser or have more STDs. It doesn't mean that at all. In fact, S workers actually get tested quite often. It's just so funny how we get so stigmatized into thinking that we're disgusting and we're dirty and we're filthy and we've had so many people in us, when it's quite frankly not the case at all. Most of us are complete opposite to that. And 99.9% of S workers get tested regularly if they're making regular and consistent content with people. I myself, if you really want to know, haven't made content with BG for a very long time. I'm not saying they should leave my past and not worry about my past. I'm saying that the things that I've done in the past are who I am and what have made me who I am to this person today.
Exactly. That's exactly the point. The things that you've done in the past and the things that you're doing have made you who you are today. Men don't want who you are today. You put yourself out on video for money, showing yourself doing salacious acts. Now, yes, guys will pay $5 a month or whatever to maybe view or do a tip or whatever so they can view the content. But it doesn't mean they find it acceptable. If you ask me as I'm sitting down to eat, I don't know, In-N-Out Burger or Five Guys or some other burger joint with a mountain of fries and sipping on a Coke, if you said to me, that'll kill you someday if you keep eating it, that's really bad for you, I would say you are correct. But I know what I'm doing. I am willfully eating this stuff because it is delicious and I'm in the mood for this right now, and I will eat it. And then if I die of heart failure at the age of 54, I understand why. Other guys will say, well, I only eat like this once or twice a month, but 98% of my diet is healthy. That's the much better way to go about it. We understand what we're doing. We understand that if we put garbage into our body, we're going to feel like crap and we're going to look like crap. If you let strangers into your body and you do all this and exhibit yourself for money and profit, we know. And we know what that eventually does over time. It's the same thing. It makes you mentally sick. It makes you unwell. It makes you unable to pair bond. It makes you unable to love one man because they're always going to be lacking in some way because you have thousands or hundreds or whatever of men to compare to. The most interesting part of what she says, however, is she says, I bet I sleep with a lot of less or the same amount of people that you men do. Listen to the number that she says she thinks most men sleep with.
It doesn't mean it's in the past, it's going to be left in the past forever. I still make content by myself. I still run OF. I think I'm still in the adult industry. I just mean, why should past like that affect you? But I get why it affects you, but I still don't really understand it because It's like me saying, well, you've slept with 200 women or 100 women. That's disgusting. When I've slept with way less. Do you know what I mean? And you.
So she justifies it by saying that's like saying you've slept with 100 or 200 women where I've slept with way less. Interesting that she picks a number as high as 100 to be able to say that she's slept with way less. Notice she didn't say 10. Like, oh, I bet you slept with 10 or 20 women. I've slept with way less people. She can't say that. Her way less is probably saying, well, you slept with 100 or 200 women, but I've only slept with 70 or 80 men. That's way less. That's like 20% less than you have. Or if you're 200, that's, 100 and some odd percent less. Her justification is ridiculous. And she assumes that we as men as a whole, which is, again, we're just one big conglomerate goop of men, because God forbid, we're not all the same. She assumes we all men have the ability to go out and sleep with 100 or 200 women, ironically not understanding that many of you guys that are here have slept with 0 women, or 1 or 2, maybe 5 if you're old or whatever, because you're not these top 5% guys that have opportunities like that. But she assumes that, so a guy that's maybe never slept with a woman or has had 1 or 2 or 3 women that he's bedded in his life, and he's a 30-year-old guy who wants a decent woman, for her to turn around and say, well, I've slept with way less than you have. I've only slept with 60 people. That guy that slept with 3 is like, holy crap, you got to be joking me. The cognitive dissonance, it doesn't match up in her mind for her, so it doesn't work out so well. And now she's trying to justify her actions to nobodies on the internet. Not that you guys are nobodies, but she's justifying herself to nobodies on the internet. That's what she's doing. And that means that it's getting to her, that it's bothering her, that she's paying attention now because she's getting so much of it. That's a win. That means that there is definitive pushback against the crazy. I want to play this one as well, because the important thing is to understand that the men that these women hurt, the men that they push under and damage them or break their hearts or destroy them, in many cases, they never come back. The dumb ones do. The dumb blue-pilled guys that think, oh, I just got to find the right woman and things will go, and that can still happen. But if if that's your expectation, not realizing that it's an exception to the rule, you're going to have a bad time. This woman is probably the poster child for what happens when you get with crazy women. Of course, first she's got the huge gauges in her ear. You could probably almost push a ping pong ball through her earlobe. She's got a lip piercing. She's got the funky color hair. Listen to how she treats the men that were good to her in her life.
I was unfaithful.
Now, I don't know if this is copyrighted music. I'll try to run it through a filter and see if I can remove most of the music in the background.
I was unfaithful.
So you were married to your husband, but you were having children with other men.
I was. He raised them as his own and knew them to be his own until the divorce. He ended up unhoused. And the first man that I had the affair with is now my boyfriend.
So she had a husband who was good to her, raising kids that were not his own. And when he found out, now she's a crazy leftist because she calls him unhoused instead of homeless. Here's how you can tell that crazy people are crazy. Homeless means you don't have a home. Unhoused means you don't have a home. It means the same thing. But by calling them unhoused people, it's somehow kinder and less humiliating for the homeless person. Do you know what the homeless person cares about? Having a house. That's what they care about. Not if you call them unhoused or homeless or a beggar or a vagabond or a hobo. They don't care. They need food and housing. So not only does he lose kids that he thought was his, and it's some guy But now he also loses his house because she no doubt is in Lefty, California, where women get all the cash and prizes. How did he lose the house when she's the one that cheated? How did he lose the house when she's the one that went out and had kids by another dude? But he's now homeless. Don't think this doesn't make the rounds. And even if a guy says, well, that just happened to that one guy and it won't happen to me. What happens when you see video after video after video after video and channel after channel and post and meme and content and the news, and all of a sudden you go, whew, man, something's going on. I got to be careful out there. Women have gone crazy. And they can justify all they want, but there's such an overwhelming amount of evidence that they're kind of not good people right now, and that they're doing a lot of bad things, that a lot of guys are saying, yeah, I'm out.
Is now my boyfriend, the father of my first child, my son. And he was my husband's assistant manager. So he started bringing this guy around, and I made the first move, of course. I feel like I just sensed his kindness.
I made the first move, she says. So her husband brings home the assistant manager of his business, and she sensed his kindness. She sensed it. What about the kindness of your husband? So she sensed the kindness, and she says, so I made the first move. Of course I did. Married woman making the move on this loser, this assistant manager loser, and that's the actual father of the first kid she has.
Still to this day, this man that I'm with is the kindest, most patient man I've ever met. But one day he came over my house without my ex-husband there, and you know what happened next. And
do you see how flippant and casual she is? He's the kindest man, and well, he came over to my house when my ex-husband wasn't there, and well, you know what happens next. Yeah, you tell him, why are you here? My husband's not here, but she invited him over. They were texting on the backside. She invited him over. He decided to go for it because she's a leftist piece of crap, and so is the guy that slept with her because he's still dating. Oh, is he still dating?
We only saw each other once a week to do this because of how my schedule, my ex-husband's schedule, and his schedule. But the second affair,
cheater's going to cheat, right? So Mr. Nice Guy that got her to cheat on her husband. He didn't get her. She did it of her own volition, of course. So the first guy that she cheats with, and he has a kid with her, she's like, he is the kindest, most sweetest, just an excellent guy. I had to leave my husband for him because he's so amazing.
The man is the father of your daughter. He actually worked with me this time.
So now she gets a co-worker that works with her, and he fathers her second daughter. So she's raw dogging like half of everybody.
He was my maintenance guy at my leasing job. And again, just another kind man who was nice to me.
Another kind man that was nice to me. Apparently, all you have to do is be attractive and be nice, and she will let you sire children with her. And no regret, no remorse. She's laughing about it and smiling in an interview.
And then with my daughter, she's Hispanic. So she came out a little more tan than the both of us. And just as she grew up, just kept that tan skin. And still, she looked so much like me. He was just like, yep, she looks like me.
He didn't know that she had slept with somebody else. So the first daughter wasn't the husband's. It was the guy, the assistant manager that she cheated with. And then she had a second daughter. She had a second daughter with the guy that she cheated, the assistant manager cheated on. She had that daughter from the maintenance man at her business, I guess. And okay,
My wife. And here we are with 3 baby daddies and 2 kids.
3 baby daddies and 2 kids. You understand my confusion here, right? It's, okay, husband, assistant manager, snuck over, banged her. She had a kid. She tried to hide that from the husband. He found out. They get divorced. He's now homeless. Then the assistant manager that she was currently with, she got pregnant by a maintenance guy, I guess, who's Hispanic, and the kid came out, and she let that guy try to raise it as his own, except her skin kept getting darker because she's half Hispanic. So then he found out, and then he's out. And then there's the third dude that was the maintenance guy that actually had the kid with her. And look at her, just happy, smiling. Oh, boy, isn't life crazy? And in the meantime, now these are not good men. Well, the first guy might have been a good guy, although he married a woman with huge, like, gauges in her ears and, you know, a piercing through her upper lip. So I'm having, he's like a weak lefty. I'm quite sure of it. And the second guy that was assistant manager that you know, his boss, basically, he slept with his boss's wife. Yeah, he's a scumbag too. And the third guy, being a maintenance guy, he's like, I don't know, just this crazy woman. I'm maintenance at the building where she's the apartment manager. She just asked me to start tapping it, so I did. That's probably the only guy that's not a complete pig. Although if he knew she was married, who knows? But you understand my point. She's justifying all her bad actions. And she's trying to tell you, I'm not a bad person. Like, I got a little jiggy with it. Life happens, you know. That's where we are. And so these videos, because again, I found this on TikTok, on Twitter, and it had something like 14,000 views and comments and likes, and people are like, is this really where we are today? And there are women commenting on it, dudes, married dudes. Women are their own worst enemies. I keep saying it. And this stuff is now going viral because people are like, oh my gosh, we didn't pay attention for a while. And we called anybody that was talking about this stuff misogynistic and toxic. Turns out they're kind of right. And this was growing like a tumor underneath our noses. This was growing like a tumor. And now it's just blowing up all over the place. Same thing with this girl. There's 50-50 responses. First of all, she's 18. She's got the fake lashes, the highly manicured eyebrows. She's got the nose bull ring, which always makes me want to touch it with a 9-volt battery and connect it just to watch him jump. A ton of makeup on, and she looks like her chesticles are fake. And she's 18, she says. When I was 18, girls didn't really wear makeup unless we were going to like a school dance or something, like the prom. Other than that, girls didn't wear makeup. Yes, they blew out their hair and maybe put on a little, you know, neon green eyeliner or something, but it wasn't the fake lashes and everything else. They certainly didn't have their hoo-has hanging out at the top of their shirt like this. This video was again, sparked a debate online. And half of the people are like, oh my God, what is wrong with women? The other half, the half that I think is correct, because this is how I feel, is, oh, this is an ad. She's acting. She doesn't really feel this way. She's completely dead, like she's so dead in the face. And now, because and this is why it's a loss either way. If she does feel like this, then it's a loss. Like at 18 feeling like this, you're like, she's got the 1,000, you know, the 1,000 hog stare, you know what I'm talking about? The 1,000 trouser snake stare. She's got that going on. So either it's real or she's faking it and what she says is not real and she's acting and she's doing this to promote her, you know, saucy content online. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if she's faking it or what she's saying is real. That's what's so great about this type of video, is either way, it shows everybody women have lost their minds. And women are saying, oh, just ignore everything I've done. And, you know I've done this crazy stuff. Don't pay attention to that. I was just in my wild phase. Any man that would ever wife her up or marry her or have a long-term relationship with her has two options. She's either being legitimate or she's lying to promote saucy work, which is also horrible. It's a lose-lose for women, and they just don't get it.
So, I want to be passed around so bad, but my boyfriend just wants a monogamous relationship. It's 2024. Expecting to be with one person for your entire life is, like, unreasonable. I'm a young 18-year-old Latina. I'm trying to get my face blasted by multiple men. Like, I haven't even had a quickie in a bathroom stall. I have so much to live for. And you're telling me that I have to stay with this one guy because I love him so much. But there's literally guys out there with 13-inch meats waiting to destroy me. It would just be so unfortunate if I were to go my whole entire life without getting piped by at least 100 different people just to see who I like the most.
You see how it sounds scripted? She's not a good actress. She's not a good actress at all because that all sounds horrible and scripted. What are your options? It's real and she's a horrible person. It's scripted and she's promoting stuff that makes her awful, like undateable, lose-lose. So it doesn't matter. That's what's so great about this stuff. It doesn't matter if they're being legitimate or real or acting or to promote their other stuff. Who cares? The internet is forever. And so the more viral this stuff goes on TikTok and Twitter and all the places, the more the message gets out, the more men realize I don't want to accept what I'm being offered. And it's not boding well for women, so much so that the Overton window, at least maybe not in politics, but the Overton window is shifting back to more conservative. And when I did the story the other day about the AI, the Dignify AI, the Dignify story, where they're taking women that are, showing this stuff and they're covering it up and everything. A couple of comments were in there like, dude, I thought you were kind of libertarian or let people do what they want to do. I do. Which means that I think it's fine that women put themselves out there in horrible ways. And I think it's fine if other people want to clean it up and try to make them more presentable. That's literally everybody doing what they want to do in this situation. But what I find interesting is that men are doing it, and a lot more guys are like, hey, I actually like the more representable, cleaner stuff. Like, I would like us to go back in a time where it's not like that. I think it's fine these women want to do this stuff. I've never said, oh, well, we need to ban OnlyFools, or we need to ban TikTok, or no, it's just the understanding that there is the bill will come due someday. The bill will come due for your actions. You're going to have to write a check for that. And a lot of times that check means you're now street meat. You're now just for fun, and no guys want to be with you. And that's okay. But it is a lifestyle that you can't come back from unless she starts lying. And if they do lie and the guy that she's with believes it, it happens time after time after. Do you think she can keep it hidden for like a tenth of a second? No. She becomes this woman. I just wanted to do it. He was hot and he was cute and I wanted to sleep with him, and he was very kind man. So I let him raw dog me. And I had a kid with him because he was a kind man, you see. And I did it again and again and again. You can lie and you can sucker guys into something, but the actions, the permanent addiction to guy after guy after guy, and successful man and good-looking man sleeping with them even though they won't date the women, that becomes a habit. And then when she's with the same guy for a year or 2 years or 3 years, he's boring. He's, I need excitement. I need some bad boy. And they bounce. And they cannot help it. Oh! I had another video I wanted to pop in here. Let me bring this in before I get to this one.
I'm a nuclear physicist.
All right. Here's a perfect example. Here you have this gentleman, Mr. Clean Cut. He's two black women and a black dude, and these two women have some sort of a show, and they're interviewing, talking to him. And I think it's for dating, to see if this woman in the middle would find him attractive or date him. He's a nuclear physicist. He's well articulated. He's smart. He's intelligent. He's well spoken. And this is only a minute long, but I want you to hear. I want you to hear what she thinks of this guy at the end. And then she says, well, he didn't tell me anything about himself. Listen to this guy speak and about his experience. Let me know if you can tell anything about him.
I'm a nuclear physicist for the Navy.
No.
So I do that in a few. I am 27. I look a little young. I'm not that young.
Yeah, you look young. So where do you live?
So I'm actually in the Woodlands, Texas right now.
Nice. Okay, so tell me a little bit about yourself.
3 years ago, I got certified at pharmacy around when I was 17. I didn't really do anything with it. I went to university for a while. I was getting like a business degree. So I have a bachelor's in business. And then I did pharmacy for a little while, for about 3 years, and then got bored. So I was like, let's go see what the military has to offer. Didn't do anything. I did my PICAT about a year ago. Got a 90. It goes up to a 99. Got a 96. They offered me nuclear physics, and I was like, why the not? So I went there, and now I ship out in a few days.
Oh, okay, nice. Well, best of luck as you ship out pineapples.
Yeah.
And she just dismissed him. Certified pharmacist by 17. I think he said like a business degree. So he's got a business or business management. I forget exactly what he said. He's got a business degree. And then he gets certified as a nuclear physicist with the Navy by the age of 27. You want to talk about a sharp, highly motivated, hardworking, intelligent guy? That's this guy. That's this guy. And he said, I don't know what the exam he was speaking of, but he said, out of a possible 99, he got a 96. And the Navy was like, wow, you're so smart. You want to become a nuclear physicist? And he's like, yeah, I've been bored with all the other, jobs that I've had. I need something challenging. All that you could hear in what he just described. And how do the women react? And he's not a bad looking guy. He's not a bad looking guy. How do they react?
Why? Because he literally didn't tell me any qualities about himself. He's just like, I made a 96 on this. I did this. And I feel like I did that at first too. But however, I need a man with some personality.
You felt that quick? You didn't have personality?
Yes, I'm really good at reading people.
I'm really good at reading people. He didn't have a personality. Now, maybe you didn't get to know his sense of humor. Maybe you didn't get to know what him and the boys were up to last Friday night. He told you his personality and everything you needed to know about him. And why is that relevant? Because we all see it. If I asked any of you, what do you think about that 27-year-old guy? You'd say, man, dude's got it together. But the women don't see it. They can't. They don't understand what men are or what we want or our perceptions of the world or how we express women don't know anything about men because they've been lied to by the media, by the feminist teachers, by single moms. We're an anathema to them. They just have no idea how we think, what we want, how we feel, how we go about our lives. In my years of dating, if you go back to when I was in my 20s or even 30s, and that dude was talking to a woman, halfway through, she would have been writing down her phone number, like, here, why don't you give me a call? Because she would have said, hey, not bad looking guy. He's a go-getter, probably going to make very good money. He's highly intelligent. He's highly motivated. He's a winner. And you know what? You might say, he's a little dry around the edges. He's kind of nerdy. But most women, at least historically, would say that's okay. Yeah, I can get my entertainment from TikTok and the internet. I want a solid guy in my life. Now women want their men to be like TikTok stars. They're funny, they're interesting, they're dangerous, they're bad boy, they're athletic. They're he's smart, but whatever. And ultimately, who's she going to end up with? She's going to end up with a bad boy. She's probably going to have a kid or 2 or 3 with the bad boys. And as these go viral, and then after she makes the mistakes, and after she'll be making a TikTok video about how she's crying and no men want her anymore because of her age and she's a single mama, and she'll be saying, ignore the past. Just ignore everything I've done in my life. Just ignore that. Just accept me for who I am today. Okay, well, who you are today is not good. You've made stupid mistakes, you have a bad past, and men do care because your past will reflect your future if you don't learn from it. I've made a ton of mistakes in my past. That's why I am the way that I am today. It's why I started this channel, because I said, man, I made a lot of mistakes. Maybe I can put some information out there so guys don't make the same mistakes I did. And maybe they can avoid the heartbreak and the misery and all the other crap that goes on when you make these mistakes. That's called, teaching it forward or putting it forward for other people to learn. And you guys soak it up. And then some of you still say, well, I got to experience it for myself. And then you do something and you're like, that did not work out well. Some of you say, I trust your judgment. I still want to figure it out for myself, knowing that it may not turn out very well, but you want to experience it for yourself, which is fine. As a matter of fact, I wholeheartedly recommend doing that. You never want to be the guy that says, I didn't try, I just listened to strangers on the internet. You don't let that be your modus operandi. Like, make sure that if you have any doubts or there's something you want to try it. Go try it and see what it's like for yourselves. But will these women learn anything? No, they don't pass on lessons. They don't learn from each other than, well, this guy was bad. It was his fault. Everything's his. No accountability, because that's what women do. I got a couple of screen grabs I'll share, and then we'll bounce out on this one. This is from a Miss Catherine on Twitter. Unpopular opinion. Guys with small trouser snakes are better boyfriends. Don't confuse the term boyfriend with the term lover. Of course, I would rather sleep with a guy that has a big Johnson. But if my boyfriend is insecure about his small trouser snake, I know he will never cheat on me and he will never leave me when I inevitably cheat on him. And then the laughing. You can say, well, she's just joking. Okay, is she though? Maybe she's not. But this thought has gone through her head, so she'd rather have a lover that's hung, and she wants her boyfriend not to be hung because he won't have the confidence to leave her after she cheats on him. Whether it's fake or not, it's to the point now where there's enough doubt that men see this and they say, I bet she's being serious. And even if she's joking, I know a lot of women that think like that. That's all you need. That's all you need to prove your point of how women keep making these mistakes over and over again. And then what will happen? We know what will happen. She'll cheat on a boyfriend, and more men come into the, whether you want to call it red pill or manosphere or going your own way, whatever. More men just keep showing up. All we have to do is hold the door open. Although at this point, we might be opening the gates so the buses and the cars can drive through, because there's so many men that are now waking up to this, that it's now more popular to make fun of this than to defend women. It used to be more popular to defend women and say, oh, you're misogynistic and you're just a hater and you're awful people. And these women have the freedom and the right to do whatever they want. That was the popular thing 5 years ago. Now, this is the popular thing, calling them out on their nonsense. This is the stuff that goes viral, because she only had 54 likes on this post, which you say, well, that's a lot. But it's been reposted 12 times and 7 people bookmarked it so they could reference it later. But it's had 41,000 views, 42,000 views, and only got 54 likes. That's 1%. Slightly more than 1% of people are like, I think that is a good opinion. More than likely, people like myself bookmarked it and reposted it so we can make fun of women like her. The boat is steering. The Overton window is steering. Things are shifting. This is just from, I don't know, a little while ago. This has 4,000 likes on it. And I didn't read the comments, but it's got 7,000 comments. So it's been liked 4,000 times, 7,000 comments. That's quite a few views. She says, am I the a-hole for not giving my husband my escape money when I saw that we were financially struggling? She said, I'm 34. I have recently ran into a situation with my husband, 37, and I'm curious about it, if I'm the a-hole here or not. So me and my husband have been together for 8 years. We've been married for 7. When I got married, my mother came to me privately and talked about setting aside money as a rainy day escape fund if worst came to worst. She says if worst came to worst. My husband has never showed any signs of being dangerous and rarely gets upset. But the way my mother talked about it, it seemed like a no-brainer to have. When me and my husband, I hate when people write like that. When me and my husband got together, we agreed I would be a stay-at-home wife. We are both child-free, so that was never a concern. My husband made a comfortable mid-six-figures salary, so like 150 grand or something. All was good until about 2 years ago. He was injured at work and nearly got ended because of it. Like he was almost no longer with us in an accident. Between hospital bills and a lawsuit that we lost that ate up nearly all of our savings, I took a part-time job while my husband was recovering. But when he fully recovered, we transitioned back into being unemployed as my husband insisted that it was his go-to role to provide. He currently is working 2 full-time jobs and Ubers on his days off to keep us afloat. Here's where I think I might be the a-hole. Here's where I think I might be the a-hole. I do all of the expense managing and have continued to put money into my escape account, although I significantly decreased it from $750 a month to just $200 a month. My husband came home exhausted one night and asked about downsizing because of the stress of work was going to kill him. I told him downsizing would not be an option as I had spent years making our house a home and offered to go back to work. He tried to be nice, but basically told me that me going back to work wouldn't make enough. After an argument, my husband went through our finances to see where we could cut back. He was confused when he saw I had regular reoccurring withdrawals leading back years, and he asked me about it. I broke down and revealed my money to him, which now sits at about $47,000. After I told him all of this, he just broke down sobbing. His point of view is I treated him like a predator and hid money from him for years when he was at his lowest. I told him that the money was a precaution I would have taken with any partner and not specific to him. He left the house to stay with his brother and said I hurt him on every possible level. But my mom says this is exactly what the money is for and I should bail now. Am I the a-hole? One of the reasons why I wanted to read this story is that the mother convinced the daughter, be prepared. Now, the rainy day idea for escape money for wives is very old and goes back decades and decades back before women had alimony and child support and all this stuff. So the idea has carried on, but it wasn't to make $47,000. It was to have enough, usually, to be able to get a taxi and a hotel stay for a couple weeks till you could figure out what's going on. Not, $47,000. So this guy made 6 figures, took care of the home, almost got ended in an accident, and then comes back around, and now he's working 2 jobs and an Uber on his days off because he wants to keep her in the same condition. Keep the home, keep their lifestyle the same. So he's working himself to the bone. Only to find out that when he talks about downsizing and making his life easier, she says no. And then he finds out she's squirreled away $50,000 on the backside and hid it from him. This kind of story, this rhetoric here. Now, this is Reddit, which is, again, where the internet goes to die. 4,000 upvotes, 7,000 comments. That is a big, big, big comment thread on Reddit. Whether you agree or disagree, the point is that it's out there. And that now women are saying, when channels like mine and people share this on Twitter, there's a point where women say, I can't defend this anymore. And I can't ignore this stuff. Yes, there are women still out there trying to defend it, but now they look ludicrous in doing so. They look ridiculous because they don't have a leg to stand on. And as this soaks into culture, that's where I say it's a little white pill. It's good news that enough men complained long enough and pushed back and showed the idiocy that even people that want to call us names and say we're crazy, we pull up tens and hundreds and thousands and hundreds of thousands of comments and posts and things like this to prove our point, to the point where even if they won't agree with you and they won't come out and say it, they realize it's a problem. And that's really all that men's communities ever wanted society to do, was recognize there's a problem. And not only is it now a problem, it's becoming popular to make fun of the problem and call women out. That's what's so beautiful about this. This is from a gal. The generation of men are no longer patient. Your wife cheated on you and you are exposing her on social media. Instead of submitting and trying to mend the relationship, how will another woman take you seriously? Who else will marry you? Doesn't matter if this is satire or if it's real. Doesn't matter. Because you can't tell anymore. That's the point. So she's making fun of men that aren't patient because your wife cheated on you and you're exposing her on social media, instead of you, the man, submitting and trying to mend it. So she wants to cheat and then expects you to try to fix it. Doesn't matter if she's joking or not. It's out there and it's being shared. I didn't dig this up. This was shared and, again, liked. One of these was liked like 40,000 times. They're just blowing up all over the place. From this chick, white boys, high IQ, small trouser snake. Black men, low IQ, big trouser snake. A difficult choice, isn't it? Boy, that's kind of ism, isn't it? That's kind of ist, the racism, yes. She says, no, I'll take the guy with the bigger trouser snake any time of the day. Sorry, Mr. College Diploma, being smart still won't save you from falling out of the genetic pool, with laughing emoji. This was seen 3,600 times. So she says she'd take the guy with the big D instead of the smart guy that would provide and maybe care for her. That's not saying that the black guy wouldn't take care of her. That's not what I'm saying. He might. I don't think so, because she's a loser and he won't. No smart man would keep her around. But that's kind of the gist of what she's saying. She's like, I'd rather be with a dude with a big trouser snake who's dumb. This is Idiocracy. You know, Idiocracy is a great movie. If you haven't seen it, please go watch it. This is where we are. Sorry, white guys, you're going to fall out of the genetic pool because instead of Mr. College Diploma, I'll take the guy with a hog. Okay, well, you do know black men also do go to college, right? You do know a lot of us white guys didn't go to college, and a lot of us are hung like a black dude. Just saying. Not me. I mean, you get my point, right? That there's a whole lot of assumptions in this. So not only does she come across as basically stupid, but, I mean, she's kind of a racism. She's a racism. I have to say it funny like that because of YouTube. But also I find it funny to say it like that. That's what she is. And, okay, good luck, single mom. Good luck to you. And lastly, I don't normally do dating profiles much anymore because the truth is there's so many and they're all the same. Horrible women, horrible. This gal, Erica. I'm currently pregnant with my first child. Oh, where's the guy that got you pregnant? Why are you not with him? Well, why are you not with the guy that got you pregnant? I'm not saying it's a black dude. I'm saying she went with a guy with the bigger hog and maybe he's not so smart. That's what she did. She hasn't even had the kid yet. She's back out on looking for a dude. But here's the funny part. I'm looking for a serious relationship and I'd like to be able to move in with you right away. Well, of course you would, because you screwed up. You found a guy you found one dude to get you pregnant. Now you want to find another dude to support you. It doesn't work like that. You know, it's ironic. This is where we are, fellas. This is where we are. And the good news, everybody sees it. Oh, it is so popular to roast women right now. Not because we hate them, not because we find them unworthy, but because they're doing it to themselves. And it's so super easy because it's all over the place. It's like they're just throwing, like, here's how stupid I am. I'm just throwing my stupid out there. I'm putting it on the internet for all to see. Hey, look, I got 300,000 views on my video. It's popular. I'm going to put more fails out there. You keep going, ladies. You keep going. We love it. But it is going to change the culture because everybody can see how ridiculous this is. And the companies that are all pro-women and the companies that are all the diverse and all that, we see through it. We see through it. Enough people now not only have the confidence to speak out about it, but find it funny to do so. That find it funny to make fun of it. That's all we ever asked for. It is a problem that will correct itself just at some point. We just don't know how far down the rabbit hole we're going to fall until society decides to go, oh yeah, maybe we should do something about this. Women aren't doing so well. Guys, if you like my work, jump on over to betterbachelor.locals.com. I do freeform content over there. We do live streams every weekend. Lots of fun. Free speech. And, of course, I'm the only moderator over there. So I'm the only one that gets to say who and what can be said. And so far, I've never stopped anybody from saying anything over the last 3 years, which means you can pretty much say anything you want. And we also have a great community of guys just posting everything in the world over there. So you can find a lot of similar content to this, where we just kind of have a collection of everything that's out there. So I hope you jump over and check it out today. And we will see you in the next one.